Yeah, it's Andrew, and I got Marshall with me,
What's up?
and we're gonna kind of like talk over a video that we did, kind of talking about we're doing at the point. And this is one of our trips out in Norman,
Oh, and he's hooked up.
and we managed to kill it on Norman like this spring with shaky heads. Pretty much all we were throwing. As you can see it in a lot of our videos, it's pretty much all we've been doing in the spring. And this is that dock that with that boat on it that we catch all the fish off of. Like, we've come to this dock and we've caught fish off of it like every single time. But
It's probably the same fish, to be honest. Just getting a little chunkier throughout the year. But yeah, you were slacking this day. I actually had to cast about 50 yards onto this dock because he had to retie some shit.
that tends to happen.
I was bleeding on the boat.
Yeah, he's really good at getting blood all over my boat.
Yeah, I waited too long to set the hook. Oh, here we go. This one really made me mad.
This was later in the day, but I actually got a good hook set on this. I almost pulled him right out of the water.
I cast in that spot about 8 times. And I didn't get anything.
This was like my first time here. I was messing with the trolling motor again. It's another common theme in my videos. I'm really not paying attention while I fish. And I was just like, oh, look, a fish. Yeah, I almost pulled him right out of the water.
We got a little minnow caught right there.
Yeah, he was a guppy.
We haven't gotten many sizable fish, but we sure have caught quite a few on Norman. And we actually went into the year not really liking the fish on Norman because we never caught anything. And then one day we just went out there and we caught like 6 or 7, and ever since then we've been all right.
So I had to include this one because this is when your reel broke.
Yeah, this was a stressful time until I realized it wasn't a big fish.
Look at that. He's like, oh, crap.
I cast on this pontoon 3 or 4 times, same spot. And I could tell it was a little one because he just, that quick tip shake. And I was pretty hyped. That was my first handline bass, so hopefully there's not many more of those.
It was just a baby.
Yeah.
He was really tiny.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't a big one. Hands
Yeah,
probably got cut up.
Picking up your pieces of your reel just exploded.
Yeah, that was interesting. Right before that happened, the button fell out of it. And I was like, you know what? That's probably not a good thing. But it wasn't that big of a deal, I thought. And then the first fish that I hook into really explodes. So that was a fun time.
And that wasn't it happened again later that day too, which I thought was the best part of that.
Yeah, well, we put Loctite on it, so
Yeah, we're good now.
It ain't going anywhere.
Now this is the fish that you casted to like
8 times?
8 times, and every single time it bit your worm in half, and then it just all you needed was me to cast on it. And
Yeah, I think I lost like 3 or 4 chartreuse tips off my worms. And he's over here fooling around the trolling motor again, and then he sees his line. That's probably the best hook set I've ever seen Andrew lay into.
yeah, that was a pretty good hook set.
And then I can't find the net. And the net was out. It was in the seat.
Yeah, and that was in the seat.
So that was pretty
You
embarrassing.
didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Well, I saw him flash, so I got really hyped. And this was probably one of the better spots.
This is probably one of the better fish that we've caught on Norman. It was decent.
You definitely outsized me on Norman, which is really irritating.
Yeah, you've caught more fish, but I get more quality fish.
Yeah, I always lose them.
I was pretty hyped about that one. That was like, I think that was one of the first fish I caught this year, if I remember right.
It was. That was like one of the better days. This is whenever we really thought spring was going to be setting in. And
Yeah,
then,
no.
I think a week later it was snowing. Ah, here it is.
No, this was before this was after the snow. Before the snow.
This is
when that fish hit the surface.
And I was yelling at you to throw a spinner.
Yeah, you were getting really mad at me because I was just fishing on the bank and there was this fish just busting on the surface. And I was like, whatever, he ain't going to hit anything.
Yeah, and then he catches one. It took a few casts, but he finally came back and ate it.
Yeah, he bumped it right there. And I think it was on this cast here that I hooked him. But it was kind of weird because I was casting right to where he was hitting. And I was surprised he ended up hitting it.
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing fish top water. I mean, one, it's a dead giveaway of where they're at, and normally you can get a pretty good jump on. It's a pretty good sized fish. This was on Tuckertown.
Tuckertown, yeah.
Apparently, there's some big fish in Tuckertown. We ain't found them yet, but we will. It was a cold day. I was in shorts in the last video, and this was like a week or two later, and I'm back in the camo coveralls and the hoodie. So, yeah, this weather flip flopping is.
It gets colder later on in the video. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, there's some really pale bass. So
this is what I was talking about. We were out with my buddy Omar, and it started snowing. This was maybe like 2 weeks ago. So this was mid-March. It was snowing here in North Carolina.
Yeah, the shaky head bite was pretty good here. I ended up catching like 3 fish, all on shaky head.
I got one on a rattle trap here, which you're going to see in a second. But
yeah, it was all in about 10 feet of water, and they were all off of super long brush piles extending
here's the snow
off the bank.
I added this just so you can see how this was like. It started snowing like pretty heavily, and we actually went and sat in the truck for like 2 hours. Like this was like just the start of the snow, and we're like, all right, this is pretty bad.
Yo, that was me finding Andrew's snowboard jacket, and that like made my day. Because I came out in just a regular hoodie, t-shirt underneath, and some jeans, thinking, I ain't got to look at the weather report. Nothing's going to happen.
This was my only fish that day in the snow. This was out on Tuckertown again, but this was on a red rattle trap. It was in like 6 or 7 feet of water. But I mean, those rattle traps, they're awesome in the cold. They really kick some butt.
I was pretty surprised how shallow they were with the water temperature, how it was. I mean, you threw that rattle trap right up on the bank. It was probably 3-4 foot of water, and he bit in 7 foot. So rattle traps are where it's at. Oh, there's what ski bass.
Yeah, there's one of yours.
Again, right off of a super long brush pile. That was kind of the pattern of the day. Throwing the shaky head, being really aggressive with it. I mean, I'd just be jigging it and smack it.
Omar's looking all intense right now.
He's the king of the wind knots. I've never seen a guy throw so many wind knots into
he
the line.
is terrific at getting wind knots.
And it wasn't even the line either. I know because
I go and cast it like for a while.
Well, that and I helped put that line on. So
you caught a fish. We couldn't even see it because you were standing in the way.
Yeah, I hooked up here, and then Omar decided to be a camera hog. So that's all right.
That's right. He's got his hook stuck to the glove. You see him?
Yeah, I broke a crankbait like that.
You did. You give me an up-close look at this fish by slapping me with it right there.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's how cold it was, man. We had to laugh to keep warm.
It was pretty bad. He's still trying to get that out of his gloves. This was like the day before this. We went on Norman. So this is that same exact dock that started the video. This is the same exact one I caught this fish on.
We actually went back there not too long ago and caught one off the same dock.
We caught 2 off that dock, actually.
We did.
I did. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, I was slacking that day.
Pretty weak showing, really.
Yeah. I taught him how to fish a shaky head, and then he started catching fish, so I need to stop teaching him things.
I had Omar shoot because this was within like an hour of us going out on the first day that he was here.
That's a nice spot.
And we went out and launched in the boat. There was a guy coming in. This was at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he told us to turn around. Now this you haven't seen yet. This is your moment of glory.
Oh my God! This is the 8.
This is it was a close between 7 and 8 pound fish. And
so I'm throwing a shaky head here, not really expecting much. Just on high rock, and I think I set it feels like a log. So I'm like, oh, I'm snagged out, So, and I got my little rod. So boom, like I set the hook, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a giant.
Yeah, I saw it. It was a massive fish. It was big.
It was a giant, and if you can see it a little bit there, and like right there, he got off, and it was my fault. I didn't keep tension on the line. Andrew was right there with the net, and I should have I should have kept going the way he was swimming. Whenever he turned around, created slack in my line, and it was just downhill from there, man. But yeah, that was probably one of the biggest fish I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was the biggest fish I'd seen that weekend, and we saw some big fish be weighed in. And I did something similar, like literally the week after, where I'd like turn to fish. I was back in Rhode Island fishing, and I'd turn to fish, and he came right off that same exact way. So,
but if you watch my hook set here, it's a little weaker than my normal ones. And what happened was, I thought I had a stick. You know, you hook into a stick, it turns sideways, and you're like, oh, it's just a stick. And that's exactly how it felt. So I felt his head shake, and that's whenever I tried to set the hook in a little bit, and I noticed that, it was coming up really slow, and I didn't even realize, but my rod was bent tip to reel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it was bent over. It was a good one.
And, I should have just boat flipped it. I'd have broke my rod, but it would have been worth it.
But now, this you haven't seen yet either. That was your shining moment. This is my shining moment of the fishing season so far. Marshall had casted one of my pretty expensive spinner baits on shore, and I managed to get the trolling motor stuck in the mud. And you can't see it, but that shaft is bent at about 30 degrees. So I'm trying to get it out, and it's stuck in there pretty good. So I'm like, well, I don't want to start the big motor. So I give Marshall my rod, and I'm like, oh, I'll just give it one last big tug.
I was actually fishing a jig.
Yeah. There we go.
And check this out.
He almost hits me with the spinner bait.
No, look, I had my jig on mine, and the jig come right out right as soon as you loosened it up for me. So, I guess your weight transfer on it. Yep, boom, there it goes.
There it goes, right there.
Jig's right out.
It was cold that morning, too.
That was on High Rock, too.
That was on High Rock. It was like 50 degrees.
If you notice my camera right here, it was about 6 inches from going kaplunk, and I'm really glad it didn't.
Yeah, I almost brought him with me. Like, I kind of, reached out. Essentially what happened is when it finally let go, the boat kind of, sprung off of it, and it went one way, and I went the other way. And in I went. But that was my shining moment of 2018 so far.
That's an awesome shot.
Going for a swim.
I'm so glad you had the hat cam on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it was... that's what GoPro's for. You want to catch the good moments like that, I guess.
Yeah, I can't wait to go top water.
But anyways, that is our video for this week. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to be doing a couple more of these kind of commentary videos. So hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see new stuff every week.
Yeah, comment a little bit. Let us know what we can do different. I don't know. We just do it. We're having fun with it. We like the video and have a good old time. So, thanks for the support. I know a lot of my family watches these, and mostly our friends. And I think actually most people that subscribe already aren't anybody we know. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
But next week, I think you're going to see a blooper video. So that will be included on the blooper video too, by the way.
We're actually going to the North Carolina Collegiate State Championships on Kerr Lake, sponsored by Bass Nation this weekend. So hopefully we'll have some good footage from that too, and that'll be in a video coming up.
Yep, that'll be in an upcoming video too. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so it'll be cool.
Yeah, man.